Hi, this is Brad Burnett, and this is the 9 things every college student should know about money. We asked students what it was that wasn't being taught in Gateway, and they told us that it was information about money, about personal finance. So I thought back to when I was in college and the mistakes that I made when it came to money. And every mistake I made, I would always say, you know what, I wish somebody would have told me. I don't know what you're going to get out of this, but at the end, you're not going to be able to say, nobody ever told me. Number 1 of the 9 things every college student should know about money, you've got to have a plan. People get in trouble with money when they wander around in the dark. You wander around in the dark long enough and you will hit the wall. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have a direction. You've got to know where you're going with your finances. A financial plan can get quite complicated over the course of your life. It'll change, it'll evolve, it'll turn into things like saving for retirement, saving for your kids' college education, how do you properly insure what's important to you? All those things become part of this overarching financial plan. You're really not at that stage right now. You're a college student, a freshman college student. Really, the biggest part of a financial plan that you need to deal with right now is called a budget, okay? Now, budget is no complicated matter. It's actually quite simple. You can do it on a single page of paper. All you have to do is take a sheet of paper and draw a line down the middle and a line across the top. And on one side you write income, and on the other side you write expense. All right? This is money coming in. This is money going out. Do you want to know the secret to success? Financial success. You want to know the secret to financial success is spend less than you make. That's it. If you will spend less than you make, you will be financially successful. The problem is, in America today, there's actually very few families that spend less than they make. We've become a society that wants things now, and we're willing to go into debt in order to get it, okay? But let's look at this whole concept of spending less than you make. All right, you're college students. So where do most of you get your income from? Well, there's usually 3 major ways that students get income. They either get it from mom and dad, right? They get it from a job, or they get it from some type of financial aid, scholarships, grants, loans, work study, whatever it is. Now, some of you might have a grandmother that's supporting you, and that's great. But for most college students, this is where your funding comes from. So in order to put your budget, your financial plan together, you need to take which one of those sources that you're getting dollars from, some or all, and you add that up, and that gives you the number. That's the number that you need to spend less than. Okay? Income's pretty straightforward, right? It's a little more complicated when you get over here on the expense side. And that's because it's very personal. Expenses is all about you. It's all about your personality. There are people sitting in this room who are spenders, who have $1 in their pocket, it'll burn a hole in their pocket until they can figure out a way to spend it. There are people in this room who are savers, who with $1 in their pocket, they will fight you before they give up that $1, okay? Healthy place to be is somewhere in between, all right? But when it comes to expenses, because it's so personal, I can't tell you how to do it, because you're going to have to decide that for yourself. What I can do is give you a model that you can work from. And that model is this. You must decide for yourself the difference between what you need versus what you want. What you need versus what you want. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I don't like this dude. This guy's telling me I can't have the things that I want. And that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm asking you to do is this. Once you decide what it is the things that you need are, pay for them first. After you get the things you need paid for, go get what you want. Go get everything you want. The problem is that we typically have a pretty expanded view of what it is that we need. So by the time we get done paying for what we need, we don't have a lot of money left over for the things that we want. All right, now I don't know you guys, I don't know who you are, I don't know your needs versus wants, but you are a common group, so I know some things about you. You're all college freshmen. So I know for a fact that all of you need these things. You need to be able to pay tuition and fees. You need to be able to pay for some type of room and board, and you need to be able to buy books so that you can study and not flunk out. All right? All of you need to do that because you're college students. But after that, it becomes very discretionary. You know, I could say something that everybody sitting in this room might have a different opinion of. And I'm sure I would have a different opinion from y'all. What if I was to say to you, while you're in college, do you need a car? A lot of different reactions. You know, we can't go around the room right now, so let me give you my impressions of whether or not you need a car. Here's my take. Number one, if you live in Shawnee, Oklahoma, or somewhere 30 miles away, and you get to college by driving that car to get here because you're a commuter student, I would say yes, you need a car to go to college. Or if you take your car and you drive it to some job that is providing you with income so that you can afford to be here, I would say yes, you need a car to go to college. Now this one may surprise you coming from me, but if your mommy and daddy are paying for the car, why not have the car? It's not hurting your financial plan any, right? But what if you are making the car payment? What if you are paying for the insurance? What if you are paying for the gas? What if you are paying for the parking here on campus? Do you need a car? You know, life's all about decisions. What if you had just enough money to do one of two things? Either make that car payment or pay your tuition. What are you going to do? All right? Life's about decisions. Now, there are other things that can happen with your financial plan that is not as big a deal as a car. For example, we get into habits. And habits can be a good thing in college because it's time management, all right? So with time management, you can say, I have to be here, and I have to be here, and I have to be here. And that's important for a college student because it keeps them on track and they don't get lost in the system. But habits can also be deteriorating because things happen that you just don't pay attention to. For example, let's say every morning you stop over at Starbucks and get a cup of coffee. It costs you, say, $4. All right? Let's say that after you get out of class, it's, you know, sort of in between lunch and you don't have time to go eat lunch, but you're hungry. So you stop by the snack machine and get a snack for $1.25, whatever. You then go on a Friday night because you're tired of eating on campus and you go to one of the restaurants over across the I-35 and you spend $20 on a meal. And then on Saturday night, you go out with your friends and you spend $30 doing, you know, whatever you do on a Saturday night. Okay, so what? I mean, you're buying a cup of coffee a day, you're getting a snack out of the snack machine, you are going out to eat off campus one day a week, and then you're going out with your friends. I mean, that's just living, right? Did you know that at the end of a year, you will have spent over $3,000 doing those things? The question you have to ask yourself is this: what would I do? What would my behavior be if I had that $3,000 in my possession all at once? Would I go buy cups and cups of coffee? Probably not. What if you really wanted to go somewhere cool on spring break? And you know what? $3,000 was enough money to get you there. Guys, this number never changed. The amount of money that you had available to you in your financial situation stayed exactly the same. The only thing that changed was when you got over here on the expense side, you managed your money in such a way that you were able to save up to get something that you wanted. You manage your money. Don't let your money manage you. Okay? Number two. Number two is called, hey, you got $1 I can borrow. There will come points in your life when you are not going to have enough money in your pocket to make certain big purchase items. All right, the typical ones that most people have to deal with are buying a car, buying a house, and doing just exactly what you're doing right now, paying for college. All right? Those three things typically, if people don't have enough money to pay for up front, people have to borrow. All right? Anytime that you have to borrow, you're basically saying, I'm willing to pay more than what something is worth at face value. You know, the best deal you can ever get is to walk up to the counter and buy a drink for $1 and have them hand you a drink. That's the best deal, because that drink you agreed was worth $1. Whether it's just sugar water or not, it was worth $1. You paid the $1, you got what it was worth. The problem is when you walk up the counter and you don't have any money, and you say, hey, if you'll give me that drink, I'll pay you $1.50 for it tomorrow. That other 50 cents is called interest, and that means that you're willing to pay more than something's worth, all right? A car, we don't have a lot of time, so we're going to kind of skip over the car thing. I will say this about a car. A car in and of itself is not a good investment. Do you know what happens to the value of a new car right after you buy it? It depreciates, goes down in value. So you buy this brand new $20,000 car, you drive it off the lot, and all of a sudden it's worth $16,000. And you didn't hit a tree, you didn't do anything wrong. That's just the way that new cars work. It might be a lot smarter for you to let somebody else drive it off the lot, and you buy this just barely used $16,000 car. Okay, a house. Buying a house is one of the things. Typically, you want to borrow money for things that are going to appreciate in value, not depreciate. You borrow money for things that are going to add value to your life later on. One of these things is a house. If you buy a house in a good neighborhood and you take care of it, the value of that home typically over time will increase in value. That's appreciation. You can make money with that. And you can make money with that by taking out what's called a term-based loan or an installment loan. And visually, an installment loan looks like this. It's a flat line, okay? It's a fixed rate installment loan, all right? It's got a start and it's got an end. Most importantly, it's got an end. And then what happens between the beginning and the end are called the terms. These are the things that you're going to negotiate with between you and whoever's loaning you the money. All right? Things like what is the interest rate going to be? What is the duration of the loan? What is the amount of the loan? If you know those three things, then you know what the monthly payment's going to be. All of those things are going to be negotiated between you and whoever's loaning you the money. So if you keep up your end of the deal on this installment loan and you get to the end, you can consider these monthly payments. When you get to the end, you own that car. You own that house, or you no longer owe the student loan companies any money. Don't think for 1 minute when you drive off that car lot with a brand new car that you've got a loan against that you own that car. You really think you own it? Skip a couple of payments. You'll figure out real quick who really owns that car. Okay? All right, house. The reason a house can make money is because you can borrow for a house over a long period of time, like 30 years. As long as you get what's called a fixed interest rate loan. Please, if you don't get anything out of this, please get this. When you take out a mortgage on your home, you want a fixed interest rate loan because you can plan for that over this extended period of time. So for example, a lot of them are 30 years. So you take out a loan, and for 30 years, you are paying on that loan. And we've already established the fact that houses appreciate in value, right? So you start right here at payment number 1, and over time, the value of your home goes up. Well, you're also making payments to the bank, the people that loaned you the money. So over time, the amount of money that you owe to the people that loaned it to you is going down. So these things are going in opposite directions. Here's what's the house is worth. Here's what you owe to the bank. They're going in different directions. So this gap is getting bigger. This gap, the difference between what it's worth and what you owe, is called equity. And equity in your home can be turned into cash. It can be turned into cash either when you sell your home, or it can be turned into cash that you can borrow against, and that's the way a lot of people will start their small businesses, by taking out what are called home equity loans. All right, all of you need to make sure that you don't pay a 30-year loan to the full term. In other words, you want to make amortized payments. meaning that you pay ahead, so you pay down the term of the loan, and you don't have to pay 30 years worth of interest. But buying a home, typically in a good housing market, is a good investment. All right, the last one, student loans. Here's the deal. The University of Oklahoma, we do about $200 million worth of financial aid every year. That's $200 million that we push out to you guys to help you pay for your college education, all right? Of the $200 million, over $100 million is in the form of a loan. And that bothers me. It bothers me a lot because we are putting you guys into debt. And this is debt that's going to slow you down when you get out of school. When you get out of college, you're going to want to do lots of things, and you have to pay off those student loans. You cannot discharge a student loan in bankruptcy. If you do not pay it, they will wreck your credit. They will garnish your wages. They will do whatever they have to do in order to get their money back. Okay? Now that I've sufficiently scared you, I need to tell you the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin is this. We've already said you should invest in things that are going to appreciate over time. When you graduate from college, your earning potential, this comes from the census, is about $25,000 a year higher than if you go to work right after high school. So a high school graduate makes about $25,000 a year. A college graduate makes about $50,000 a year. This is nationwide average, all right? That's a $25,000 a year difference on average nationwide. You multiply that over a 40-year working career, that's $1 million. That's what you're playing for here. That's why you're sitting in these seats, is for the opportunity, no guarantees, but the opportunity to earn $1 million more over the course of your lifetime. Now, if you compare that $1 million payout to the average indebtedness at OU is about $23,000 of the students who borrow. $23,000 a lot of money. It's going to slow you down. But you compare that to the investment of $23,000 now for $1 million payout over the course of your life, that is a good investment. Don't borrow to play. Don't borrow to live some elevated lifestyle when you're in college. Use the money for what it's there for, to pay for the things that you need so that you can get your degree and then get the job that you want and make your dreams come true. All right? Number three. Number three is called charge. And charge looks very different from a term-based loan. Charge looks like this. It's a circle, isn't it? There's no beginning. Well, I guess there is technically. But there's no end. In other words, it goes around and around. Sometimes it's referred to as revolving credit. All right? And that's how credit cards work. Took me until I was in my mid-30s to actually figure out just how credit cards do work. This is the story of what happened to me. I was traveling a lot, and when you travel, you have to put your expenses on a credit card, and then you fill out an expense report, and your company pays you back. That's how it works. Well, the problem is when you got it on your personal credit card, if you don't get your expense check quick enough, then your credit card could get charged interest. Well, I was traveling a whole bunch, and I get this big credit card bill in the mail.